Yeah. We're back again. Yeah, we back. Just checking in, man. I've been around. Hey, yo, I'm trying to stay in tune, and this is just a well check with homemade food, yeah. Been around the world with a few point of views, but now it's Blacklist, Will Smith, and cancel Ice Cube.
All right. I need to adjust this mic because I don't want to be leaning over. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Yeah, COVID kind of messed my voice up, so it's not booming like it was. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. I appreciate everybody's ability to pivot. I don't know what that laugh was for. That could have been a bunch of other things. My name is Armond, Wake Up. I want to welcome you guys to, we don't have an official title for this, but I guess it's the Taelor Gray Find a Way to Smile Again private listening session. We're going to enjoy a new album by my man Taelor Gray, an album that nobody's heard. And to me, it's his best work. And so if you're familiar with his discography, you know that the bar is already pretty high. And I think he crushed the bar, the ceiling. The ceiling is the roof.
The ceiling's the roof.
So in addition to that, we're also recording our podcast called COVID Community, something that we started during the pandemic. And with that, we just want to foster real dialogue, real communication, real process.
So it's kind of a new experience for me to have a public place, event style interaction with people about my music. I'm very introverted about my music. You know, I don't respond to comments or nothing online, and I don't do none of that. I just I release music for me. And so inviting people into a conversation about what y'all are getting from it is new to me. So this whole theme, if you want to call it a theme, the theme would be vulnerability. And I think that there are reasons to be selective about who you're vulnerable with. So I won't crack that open too much, but as we...
You're already getting deep.
I know. But we wanted to preserve the content in kind of a conversational podcast format because this place is a place of community. And we found community with one another through this podcast, but it's a representation of our real relationship. And everybody here represents some form of my community. And I'm very thankful and grateful for all of you contributing what you do to my community, whether it's been in recent times or if it's been in years past. I think I got a pretty good representation of everybody who has been my community.
That's right. So, headphones on. Name of this first record is called Put Me Back Together. I had to read because I just know these as track 1, track 2. The intro. Do we want to preface it or we just want to get into it?
I'm distant from the secret place. I know my inspiration gotta tap into that deeper place. Sometimes I look at stages like I missed my opportunity. I ain't play it political, it never really suited me, but I'm counting down and I'm rounding up. The blessings keep on overflow, it's spilling from my cup. I used to tell you about your sin until I learned to face mine. I learned to see the difference from the gossip and the grapevine. Moved on from moments in the seasons cause it takes time. And now I speak in tongues with these bass lines. And yeah, I know this language ain't enough to say the words I really needed to. And ain't all this bullshit, it's the love that I can't keep from you. Finale hit you different, now I got you locked for season 2. And you are now rocking with the sound we turn these dreams into. I need to feel something, it was you who made my senses, you who raised my fences. It was track 1, Put Me Back Together Again. Not so subtle reference to the audio you guys heard at the end. So we got started off in a way that I hope was just trying to sum up the entire project. That audio at the end of the song is me speaking at my mom's homegoing service and talking about what it looked like for me to move forward. And it was something that I don't know how I had the strength to do or I had the strength to put together words, but it was definitely something that
I knew I was gonna have to call upon, a strength I was gonna have to call upon at some point. So I wanted to be as raw and honest as possible when I was writing. I censored some of it, and there is some censorship that I wanted to make sure that I put there, because I just don't want to fight all the battles all the time. But this was an exercise of me just writing what came, no matter what it sounded like, no matter how it felt, or however I thought other people were going to feel. I just wanted to get it out, and it turned into the intro. This was produced by my homie Alan Swoop, aka Swoop, just his last name, and I think this is some of his dopest work as well.
Yeah, I think it really sets the tone for like the direction that you want to take the listener through with the album. I think one of the things that comes to mind, you talked about releasing music for yourself, but I think one of the themes through this is like really ownership, almost like at a selfish level. Like, no, I'm not doing anything for anybody else. Like, I need this.
Yeah.
And it's literally just letting you guys inside of my world, which a lot of artists attempt to do, but not as many execute to that degree. So I know a lot of these themes where you're talking about your time as a pastor, talking about your mother, your relationships, all these things that change, like you kind of nitpick on them. And the thing that I love the most is that as the album progresses, like you double back and you explain a lot of other things. Because if I hear this by itself, I'm gonna have some questions. Like, dang, where's Taelor at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the clarity is coming for sure. Can I point out my favorite line real quick?
Sure.
And this is actually what stood out to me, basically because of that. It stood out even more just because of that Facebook post that you sent me the other day. So he said, I used to tell you about your sin until I learned to face mine. I learned to see the difference from the gossip and the grapevine.
Yeah.
It's very weighty and poignant. Tell me about that.
I used to be a very legalistic person. I'm trying not to look at my cousin Cam right now. Yeah, I used to tell people about their sin in my Christian raps. Like, basically, I was pretty heavy-handed with my perception of the ways that people should live. I guess I would call it being zealous, and there's positive qualities to that, but then there's also kind of an ignorance to where you just don't really know how life plays out and how complicated things become, and really the limitations of humanity in some ways. And I used to get my rocks off, like, just putting what I thought, holding the standard high, but maybe what could have come off as judgmental, and lay down the condemnation. Oh yeah, I know Priest, you probably remember that. Priest, Cam, B, right behind him, B Moses. We all used to rap in the city together, and this was our community of folks that we would develop relationships with just based on the different events we were doing around the city. And everybody knew the Elevationists, which was me and my brother. We were going to be the conviction group. We're going to tell everybody how far they were from the Lord and the cross, and, in between songs, preach sermons and all of that. So they know very well. B used to call me Taelor the Baptist, because I would go that hard. But this particular song was just a reflection on all of that, and ultimately the place I am today is very different. I don't know how y'all feel about pastors cussing, but pastors cuss. And my dad was like, pastors cuss. But yeah, being cussing. But I don't know if the world is ready for, we've seen this tested out or teased out on whatever we could call Christian albums, but they're ready for a parental advisory pastor album. I don't know if everybody's ready for that right now.
They ain't got no choice. The way the world is moving right now, the type of Jesus we need right now, like sometimes you gotta let off an F-bomb. Get your pointer
F?
from. Yeah, we go.
You can't get the hell off or the damn or
It's different. It's got a little punch to it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's gotta jump off the cliff to it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like, you know, that's where it came from. And there's more of that in my kind of private time. So yeah, you know, this is kind of setting the tone. I think that's what?
In my private time.
Everybody got, y'all don't have no.
There's more of that in my private time.
Yeah, okay.
It's just the way you worded it. That's
Yeah,
all.
the way I worded it. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm sorry. I guess that's just the way my introspection works. But yeah, this sets the tone, and we're going somewhere. So that's put me back together again. That's literally asking God to help me make it through, help me take another step.
Okay.
All right. So track one.
We got
a signal. Oh.
Yeah, we got a question or
So,
comment. Where's the floating mic?
Do we have the floating microphone, or is that? Oh, bet.
Look at all right.
Coolio. Yeah.
I just wanted to say something about your energy on the track.
Yeah.
I think I played about 3 projects for you to turn fire on a little bit,
Yeah.
and I heard it. Shout out to you.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I have been mellow. I could talk about that a lot because there's ways that I've been hiding. You know, I think it's really more important to say that, like, you can hide as a Christian rapper. So I ain't trying to hide today.
Yeah.
Bet.
All right, let's get into track 2.
Track 2, headphones on.
This is called. Oh, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, no, you got it.
This is called Well Check.
My daughter acting like she know that she done stolen my heart, and it's been feeling like my church and I've been growing apart. But I can't hide up in these shadows like I glow in the dark. So now I'm hiding plain sight. I ain't waiting till you see me. They turned Kwame Brown to a prophet cause he Geechee. I saw Canada, I smell cannabis. These new laws can't come from old candidates. These old bones are strong, I'm still standing up. These cold calls, scams are still hanging up.
Ooh, I can't wait to perform that one.
Yeah,
man.
We added some changes to that second verse from the
He
mix
did.
that I had. That's hard.
Yeah.
Made it better, yeah.
Yeah, he made it better. Yeah. So that's called Well Check. That's kind of like, let me show y'all what I've been thinking about. Let me show y'all what's been on my mind, you know, basically what have I been processing about the world, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But I just love how that one feels.
Yeah, it's like it answers the question that everybody asks following track 1. Like, yo, you good, dog?
Yeah.
Track 2 is Well Check.
Yeah.
Here's a plate of food.
Yeah.
Let's sit down and let's talk. So it's
Yeah.
everything from theology to supreme drops in fashion and
Yeah.
like everything across the board that I imagine is on your mind throughout the course of the day, just as you operate in the various functions that you do as a pastor and a community leader.
Yeah,
friend.
and I meant it, like, you know, this is the kind of stuff you won't hear on Christian radio. You know, like as far as the way that some of this stuff is articulated. But what's so dope to me is like, I feel like I know so many different kinds of Christians, you know, and it's just like, you don't get to like see the range a whole lot, or people feel scripted. They feel like they got to say things a certain way and look a certain way. And it's like, nah, man, like we have a range of representation, whether or not like that's what they'll sell to you. But you know, I think the best thing that I accomplished on this track is that I didn't diss nobody. That's what I feel like, cause I don't feel like I dissed anybody, but like I mean, yeah, well maybe I did, but I did not mean to. So.
I know your experience. Like, if we know you, then you can
Okay. Well,
like, oh, that's, we don't gotta talk about it.
did y'all feel like I did somebody? Did somebody be like, oh dang, he said that?
Maybe an idea.
Okay. What? Say that again?
Say.
Was it a passive diss? Maybe it was subconscious then, like I didn't mean to.
I was paying more attention to the singer. So is that you singing on here?
Yeah, that's me. That's my 50 Cent hook.
Yeah, you coming out with some vocals now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, B got something.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, this sound like a 100-fold meeting in live.
Yeah.
You even added the Wingstop screenshot. Like, it's literally like.
You have to explain what 100-fold is.
All right, I'm sorry. So, Taelor, Cam, myself, Nigel, Aaron Flellen, a lot of y'all know, we basically came up with a name for our crew, 100-fold. We've been, kicking it since 04, 05, and we meet every few months, talk, pour out, vent, pray, whatever, clown, get Wingstop, and literally this song sounded like a microcosm in rhyme form of those meetings. So it just hit me differently because it was like, it's hilarious. You know what I mean? It's what we do, but dope track, but just what I'm saying.
Thanks, bro. I hope, do y'all have like friend groups where you able to just get your bars off? Oh, I know the council, Kurt. Yeah. I got like 3 or 4 separate groups, and I don't know if you have like the group chat that you send something wild to. Like if anybody ever printed off your group chat, it would be the end of you. You would have to leave society. Like oh, that laugh was too hard. I know some people in here. Don't look me in my eye.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But yeah, I've been the reference to holiness is intentional in saying like that's getting space. Being holy literally means being set apart, and it's intentional space. Sometimes you have to create separation in order to be okay. And no matter where that ends up being or who you end up being with, hopefully that when people check in on you, you're doing okay because the space is accomplishing what it's supposed to. So,
Sure.
bet.
On.
Let's keep it going.
Track 3. This is Miracle on Glengate.
Yeah. We're back again. Swoop the genius as always.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yo, this the Miracle on Glengate. 30 years later and the residence is in state. Yeah, now we talking escrow. Now we talking legacy and family manifestos. Marathon sermons, no espressos. Little did they know they teaching doctrine in the dress code. So I'm dressing different at the step show.
Oh my gosh, what I love about this, and only you guys who have this will know.
I just realized that.
What happens, no, and I kept it on purpose.
Okay.
This is my rhyme book, for real. So these extra rhymes that are not on there are rhymes that I was thinking about putting on there. So y'all really have like an extra view of where the rhyme scheme was trying to go, and I just decided like they don't need to go on there, but I was definitely trying to like work out what should go on there. But this is just about bars. This track ain't deep. I grew up on I grew up on Glengate Drive on the east side of Columbus. Not many people are from Columbus, so you may not know where No Bixby is, or Harbor Boulevard, or Hamilton Road. Like, that's the side of town I grew up on. So
I'm looking at my wife.
oh, okay.
Inside joke.
Oh, see, man, y'all can't be doing that. I can't see you, Tanika. I can't see. So yeah, no, this is one of those songs where like the emphasis. What's up, Aaron and Nigel? What's good? Came in cool.
Super cool.
Came in cool. You know that look around like what chairs are available. The overflow. Nah, like I think the expectation for me a lot of times is just to rap and do rapidy raps. So this was that. This was, whatever. I don't know. Are there any rapidy rap fans in here? People who just like raps for the rap's sake? Okay, Tanika. Okay. Oh, yes. Everybody. Priest, come on. Cam. Let's go.
All the rappers.
All the rappers.
I like rap. Like, of course you do.
So for everybody else, this is your first time you got forced to listen to Rappity Rap. So congratulations. You are now initiated into bars. Welcome. All right, I have no more commentary on that. How you feel, bro?
Nah, I love that record. That was a record you recorded like mad early. Like,
Yeah.
It's just something that you and Swoop did. You came by the crib. Like, you know, our studio sessions typically consist of, you're at the house, I got a home studio. You're at the house for 3 hours, and we talk for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and you record in 15 minutes, and then you leave and go get the kids and do dad stuff.
Yes.
And those songs or those conversations end up feeding like the art and the music. And I remember when you recorded this and you left, like I texted you and I was like, dog, like this was it for me. So I've been playing this for a long time. So I'm glad that it's found a home somewhere, because I love this record. Yeah,
bro. And you touched on something. Swoop produced this one. Another friend of mine named Wit produced the song before this. And this entire project is only produced by Swoop and Wit. This is another aspect of community for me, is working with people that I know and I trust, and that people who know me and kind of look to bring out whatever it is that I can do. But it's what he just described as a relationship that I have with all the other creators that I work with, is conversation, like spending time where it's not just about the transaction of the song and, you know, whether or not we deliver or not, and it's just this cold exchange and you part ways. But I like to make music with people that I know and trust.
Facts.
And feel like they're going through similar things. Facts. So that there can be conversation around the music. And it does represent 100-fold. Like, it ain't just this thing that I'm trying to sell you on as far as what the Christian life is. It's like, nah, ask my relationships. We've been talking about this for a long time. So community is represented in, you know, who I work with.
And that's counterculture, because as artists, especially for the era that we've made, how long we've been making music in that era, it was always you got to get this producer for this record, get this feature for this record, you know, and in the Christian space, it was, you know, so many people were chasing the Reach sound, or anyone who was close to Reach, or anyone that we deemed as successful. Mm-hmm. And so it was counterculture to be like, nah, I'm making music with my friends, you know, instead of going out for, because, you know, those relationships exist. And the elephant in the room, and it's something you and I talk about, and we'll get into it shortly, is that like those people want to get in the ring or get into the space that you create, those intimate spaces. They look at that and they're like, oh, I want that. I've been chasing this idea of the presentation, but what I really want is intimacy and relationship.
Yeah.
And then you try to assert yourself or position yourself into these relationships that have already been established, and it's like, nah, dog.
Yeah.
Who are you? Let me see some ID.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm this rapper with this many followers and I've got this song and it's on this countdown. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't like your music.
Yeah.
Or I don't like you, or I don't like your tweets, or I'm good, or
Don't like
or see, now I'm getting into my rapper bags, probably because the next song has me on it. Or, you know, if we get on this song, like, I'm going to rap better than you, like convincingly. Like, I'm gonna get on this record and embarrass you. Like, that's the point. And as Christians, those are things that we're not allowed to say and not allowed to express. But there's this underline of competition. You still want to be the best in all things. I want to dress better than you. I want to have more followers than you. I want my wife to be prettier than yours. All this other stuff, this manly stuff that we talk about.
Yeah.
Or that we're gonna talk about, that is like, it's there. It's a giant elephant in the room, and it's like, well, let's just take the air out the room.
Yeah.
Now we hit a rap.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and records like this represent that, and it's really what I appreciate, because you have to make these statements ever so often, like, going through all this stuff, I got this stuff going on in my life, but like, nah, we rapping at a high level, catch up.
Therapy, bro. Like, they're rapping, and it feels good to get that off just because you work at it. You know, like, it's not, you know, this idea of rap, and this is where I'm gonna get kind of more nerdy into the rappity rap part of it. People listen to rap for different reasons, or listen to hip hop for different reasons. Some people listen for the vibes, so as little lyrics as possible, but the production is the highlight. But I came up on a different school where lyrics had to be on. You to be on top of your game. Like, you had to work. You had to, one of the beautiful things about Cam being in my life as a close cousin of mine is that he used to tell me that I was trash. He used to tell me that. And he's here. Right. He's here right now. Like, and this is a point of validation for me, like, where I'm like, yo, you see, I've been working. I'm trying to get better.
You just gotta give Cam his flowers. Like, Cam is the standard for a lot of us.
Facts.
I came into the Christian rap space. I was like, I came from the rapidy rap, hip hop underground. You gotta have 10 rhymes that are 80 bars in the back of your head at a moment's notice for a battle. And I came into this Christian space and it was completely different. And I was like, you guys are terrible. Help. And it wasn't until I got a hold of Cambino and what he was doing, and I was like, oh, you can do this for real. So any chance I get to just give my guy like public flowers, like, that affirm me in so many different ways. And that's kind of like the Christian walk, the one that we're creating through community, is one that constantly affirms, like, oh, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
You were the way you were formed and the way that you think. Like, no, that there's space in God for that too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. Thank you, bro. Thank you for telling me I was trash. Listen, get somebody who you trust to tell you that you need to get better.
Accountability.
Get somebody in your life that will tell you that there is a higher level and call you to that higher level.
Absolutely.
So the next record is the only feature on the project, and that is my homie, Armond, WakeUp. The next song is called Understand the Reasons.
And the lyrics are not in the book. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, his lyrics aren't. Mine are. Yeah. But yes, listen along.
All right. Yo, I'm changing a lot, but I like it. I wonder if the old me would be frightened. Would he say I was enlightened? Would he see that I was free and be excited? Or say I need to sit down and be discipled? What a fight. I was beating down doors, trying to collect my flowers, but I can plant my own garden with $1. This dynamic of changing diapers and picking prom dresses is a fine lesson. Home is where I find treasure and define pleasure. I spent 2 years quarantined in my closet. Now I go outside, have conversations, and leave exhausted. For the first time, people had to sit and process the what, how, and why do they exist.
Change that too. That's hard.
That was that was Pastor John O. I've never been able to pronounce his name properly, his last name properly, but really powerful preacher, pastor. But he's been a brother to me on the low for a long time. I was going through a situation in the previous church that I was in, and I called upon his help for counsel. And so his voice had to be represented on the project because he was speaking to something so personal that I was going through, which is grief. So that's the voice you hear at the end. But Armond bodied his verse as usual. Which,
I did.
Yeah.
I was proud of myself. I ain't gonna lie, like I was.
This is why I love spaces like this, man, because you can say that and it's safe, because
glory to God.
No,
just say that.
You messed it up, bro. Like
I'm saying like that's what you're supposed to say.
I know. That's why I said you messed it up because I don't want to hear that. This is a safe space to where we be like, yeah, I'm dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully there's nobody in here will walk out of here and be like, he's full of himself and his flesh and blah. Okay, relax. First was dope. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, the only feature being Armond is intentional because of the COVID community platform that we developed, because we built community with one another. That's kind of another theme, is to say like, yo, we had to literally talk through what it meant to get through this pandemic. You know what I'm saying? And we just recorded our conversations guerrilla style, like the camera quality is crazy, the mic quality is crazy, but these were places that help preserve our sanity. Absolutely. So this whole idea of trying to understand the reasons and all of that different stuff, like that's something we were actively working through. So it's a beautiful thing to have the outlet of music to be able to try to articulate some of that and tap into how that feels.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even we're still processing what we experienced, just being quarantined, and what we saw of ourselves and our loved ones and our relationships, and I think many of us are just kind of coming outside and we're expected to go back to normal, but that just doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? And in many ways, in most ways, like that's a great thing. It's an opportunity for more freedom to be experienced. You know what I'm saying? So when I open my verse, I'm changing a lot and I like it. I wonder if the old me would be frightened. You know what I'm saying? Like, would he see I was excited? Would he say that I was free and enlightened, or would I need to sit down and be discipled? You know what I'm saying? Like me coming into a church space, a Christian space, and basically being discipled culturally more than biblically made a huge impact on my life. And so to come out of that and be like, well, now what? I have to rewire all of these spaces that I was told was demonic, didn't honor God. And I'm like, but this is all I know to be me, and I don't feel that conviction when I operate in that authenticity. And so you have to make these very overt, obvious, affirming statements to yourself in order to just, process that and to, again, offer community. Like, there were times, those podcasts, like that first season, there was a lot of bleeding. You know what I'm saying? And thank God the episodes were at 30 minutes. Like we just like, let's cut this off. And what ended up spilling out, we had guests, we had people come in, and it was a lot, but it was a good thing. It's a great thing. So that's why I'm so proud of that, because I come out of that and I look at who I was, what I was thinking through, what I've been going through, and something I talk about my wife all the time, just like the progress of the process. Like, I'm not out the woods yet. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know how far until I get to that light, but I'm encouraged because I see the light. And that's really all I need, you know what I'm saying? And just to be cool where I'm at, that kind of contentment, like that's supernatural, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's good. Does anybody feel like they've changed since the pandemic? Like, are you the same person?
Say, who hasn't changed? That's the better question. Like,
yeah. Who
I was just like, oh,
I don't want to put you on blast, because if you say you haven't changed, then you got to explain yourself.
I think this is like chime in on this. Sometimes like you don't recognize like the change that has happened. So an extension of that is like giving my flowers to you, Pastor Taelor Gray. Just because like I see the fruit of the relationship that you have developed with my husband. And also flowers to you. This is great for allowing your husband to spend that extensive amount of time like outside, like developing those spaces.
Yes, thank you. This track.
That's why I married you.
Could not. Yes, look at him. He's getting his bars off. This track could not exist, or this relationship could not exist without the support of our wives.
Facts. Jesus.
And that's like the undertone to the kind of community we've been able to develop, is that our wives have been supportive of it. Whatever a best friend is, whatever a close friend is, if you're married, it's a blessing to have a wife support you exploring that and going deeper. And I am the person, I'll go out on a limb and say this on my own, I'm the person who doesn't need to say that my wife is my best friend. I am the person that says my wife is my wife. And that's significant enough. That's his own category. That is deep. That is something deep. But then my best friends are my best friends. Yeah. And there may be some things that I don't necessarily process with my wife about who I am that I process with my best friends, because they understand me in a different way. And I don't want to put that burden on her to be
Facts.
All of it, because she ain't trying to hear these rapidy raps. Like, she ain't trying to hear it, and then if I'm that invested in, like, do you like it, baby? You like it? And she like, yeah, then I'm devastated, So I need those other spaces to affirm and to build me up in other areas that I think the friendship literally is defining the value.
And I think with that and with relationship, sometimes that outside looking in perspective can create issue. where people's perspective of those types of intimate relationships is it's almost one that's like snooty, where it's like, oh, they over there doing their thing, like we don't want to touch nobody, we won't be bothered with anybody, and it creates this stigma of, they're over there and they should be over here with everybody else because that's just what we do, or that's what we do. I don't know if I explained that well because I'm like talking around it.
I know what
instead
you mean.
of making a direct statement.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't go direct. You already said you were dope, so you got to be direct.
Okay, so in that, Taelor and I's relationship has definitely like ruffled some feathers with other artists, with other people in the community, and they think that we're bougie and off to ourselves and we're doing our own thing and we act like we're better than everybody. And I think that that's a conversation to be had publicly because we see it, we've heard it, you know what I'm saying? And, to have an artist and to have an album as an artist and only have one feature when you got friends who are rappers, you have other aspiring artists who want that opportunity to get into that space with you, you know what I'm saying? And that's not a direct shot at anybody, but that's something that has to be dealt with sometimes.
Yeah, I'm 38 years old, y'all. And, certain stuff I'm just like, I just don't have time. I don't know how to explain it. Like, some things are organic, some things are not controlled. It just is, and we're close. You feel me? And that doesn't mean that everybody can be close. And I think it's important to just acknowledge that. Like, it's not a shot against any other relationships to be close with one person. And if you take on the pressure of trying to duplicate that closeness with all of these other, you're gonna fall short. And it's gonna feel forced. And then at the end of the day, somebody is going to check out. Somebody's gonna go dark. And you're gonna be like, I thought we was close. It was like, fam, I was working hard to make this seem like we were close. Right. But I really need space right now. And if you knew me, you knew that this is a valuable part of our relationship, is space. And it doesn't mean our relationship's over. It just means that it has to be this right now. And this is for anybody. Like, it's the cynical part of me can go into a whole diatribe about how people are entitled or feel entitled to be close to who they want to be close with. But I think the other side of it that's beautiful is that everybody desires that closeness, like a real relationship, like a good relationship, a healthy relationship, people that you can trust, people you can share secrets with, people who just understand you. They just get you without you adding some additional fine print. And they just know like he's in a space right now. Not, I don't know what's wrong with that nigga. Like, sick of this nigga. Sorry to the white folks in the room, but black people say nigga. Like, and we say it a lot. Like, pastors say nigga. Like, just know y'all can't say it. That's just a rule, I'm sorry. Like, but at the end of the day, I think everybody wants that closeness. And unfortunately, we leave things on the table in the church that don't allow us to explore that closeness with honesty, and then set the boundaries to say everybody can't be close. The people who are close are close. And if you want to seek it out, seek it out. If you don't want to seek it out, then let that person be. Give him peace. So.
Yeah.
All right.
So what?
At the end of the day, so what? Deal with it.
You gotta protect your peace.
Protect your peace.
Like at the end of the day, you'll never be able to make everybody happy. I don't even understand this conversation as grown men. The fact that we have to have this conversation about grown men is a whole other topic. At the end of the day.
See, man.
Cam is gonna be on season 3 of COVID Community.
100.
It's been a long time to get you in this space.
100.
You be talking. You got things to say.
Deal with it. I wish I could say that as a pastor sometimes, but I did. I said it with a lot more words though, priest, so I was hiding. But see, this is a good example of a relationship. Me and priest we came together in a moment. We've known each other for years, back to the work emails where we used to argue about the prosperity gospel. We were stealing time from our jobs. Long paragraph emails. Oh man, Lord help us. But we've known each other for years, but there was a kind of this lightning in a bottle moment where we just needed each other. And we trusted each other, and the friendship was deepened in that moment. And so there's never a thought or question in my mind as to whether Priest would come through if I needed him, or just be present to represent a closeness that actually is meaningful to me. So, you know, sometimes those relationships are seasonal, you know, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, deal with it as a grown man. All right, we're gonna get into this next record. The audio clip of Pastor John O is talking about grief, and it'll be a lead into this next one. It's called Speak Truth.
Where grief becomes a master, it makes you face the scars on top of your skin till that deeper pain feels natural. I couldn't have grown up faster. Wait, is this that cruel world that I'm gonna wake up to? Been asking Swoop for wake up to, and cons still feel like we both been dreaming. Where's that peace the Lord gonna take us to? So where's that joy that comes in morning? That long night returns me to my youth. That little boy gonna face this torment, better stand up straight.
That's my sister Aubrey, thank you. She didn't know what I was gonna do with that voice memo, but the thing about that, and maybe you guys, I won't be explaining this to anybody else, but the thing that used to comfort me, I don't even know if it comforted me, but you know, clearly I miss my mom. But what she used to do is leave voice memos. She used to leave us voice memos and talk to us about how she felt about us and how proud she was of us. And so Aubrey reminds me a lot of my mom, you know, the way she sings and all of that. And so I wasn't gonna overproduce her. You know, we did try some auto-tune and stuff, and that ain't work. But that is an intentional representation of how my mom used to comfort me, you know, and that was the healing, you know, needed for that kind of moment of vulnerability. Because clearly I just ran out of stuff to write about. I said I need to stop before I start saying some stuff that is not productive. And it is still a real thing for a Christian in a moment of despair to reach up to God and ask him to comfort and to provide peace. And those worship songs are not just for Sunday morning in our best presentation, but they are for the dark moments that you can't reach out to anything else. So has anybody else in here kind of had their own personal struggle with grief in a way? Okay.
We need examples of that. We don't get to see it very often. But what I've been learning, especially in this pandemic, like when the world shut down, is we're seeing honesty. And I feel like people that are honest and vulnerable give other people permission to be honest and vulnerable. And I think what you're going to see is whenever you decide to release it, when people get a hold of that, they'll be able to tap into that in themselves and maybe find some sort of creative way to release that.
It means a lot from you, bro. You know why. So thank you.
Yeah, I just want to commend you for not being silent. It's hard. It's hard.
And I know you know too. You know, it's interesting having to grieve during this pandemic, or just kind of the period of the pandemic reality. Yeah, I could have been silent. So.
Go ahead, B, you got it.
When I was reading, as you were rapping, it was like I was reading like a song, like in scripture. You know what I mean? Like a song, a Davidic song. You connect with it, just like that. And Aubrey, I actually thought, you said I was always singing, right? I actually thought that was your mother singing. Like, I was thinking, oh, he found an old clip, you know, of her singing. So that was just made it even doper. Like, her voice, she was coming out of it, you know what I mean? So to speak, without sounding weird. But, you know.
Facts. When Aubrey sings, it sounds like my mom. Period. And it sometimes it's a channeling or whatever you want to call it, but it is God preserving her voice through a living person. And so, yeah, this was probably the deepest. Well, I don't know if it's the deepest vulnerability on the album.
It is.
Okay. All I know is that Liz started crying and when Liz starts crying, like, cause Liz is, she doesn't really listen to my music like that, and it's not a diss. She don't. But I asked her to listen to this one. I asked her, like, what you think, what you feeling, and when she started crying, and that kind of did something to me. So, yeah, I wanted y'all to hear that and have an opportunity to see that part of me, because there's layers to a person, and this is probably one of the deeper layers, and I don't need it to be any longer than this. This is like 2 minutes, and this is enough. But lament was a goal. I think as Christians we don't know what to do with lament. Like, we're not supposed to be sad, or we're supposed to hurry up and get past sadness, and nah. It just don't work like that in your mind and your body and your heart. Like, you sad. And sometimes you just can't just stop being sad. So you sit in the sadness and you trust God to give you some kind of rest. So. You heard the flash. Did anybody else catch the flash? Yeah, yes. Yeah. You heard it. The Speed Force for my nerds in the building. Y'all know about the Speed Force? That's a whole nother podcast. One.
The production was like, I heard Rick, I heard Swoop, all that.
That's Swoop.
That's Swoop.
Yeah, Swoop.
Yes, just the cadence of words instead of beat. Yeah. Yes, still keeping the time. Yeah. It was nice.
Swoop lost his mother. What happened?
When the music dropped, because I was kind of reading ahead and I saw the voice cracks, and so I was thinking, what's he gonna do? And then I wasn't ready for the music to drop out.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. It's like, it's kind of that fraternity you never really want to be a part of when people are grieving and sad, and you connect with them because when you know how it feels. And Swoop is another person. He lost his mother a year before I did, and yeah, we just met in the middle. I'll say it that way. So, all right.
For sure.
All right.
Let's get into, this is actually my favorite song on the album. I have to say that. So this is called The Whole Man.
Tell a little Taelor that he gon' smile again. Where you going ain't nothing like where you even been. It's not pressure till it hits your blood pressure. Sprinkle some depression in your struggle for acceptance. The hit dogs holler, said my country relatives. No one trying to hear you tell them that it's all relative. Family complicated, I'ma get some looks. And I just came to get a plate from grandma when she cooked. And some Sunday mornings I feel shortness in my breath. I stumble to the microphone, spirit does the rest. Singing to the paranoia, preaching to my demons. Sister Patty said,
listen, man.
That was Liz at the end. Yeah. So, go ahead.
This is the therapy song. That's why I like it so much. This is the therapy song. So it's so crazy as believers, like this is maybe the first season, the first couple years where like therapy is kind of like accepted to go through, because typically therapy for Christians will be talking to your pastor. It's like, oh, your pastor's not a therapist. Like those are two different functions. Oh, going to a professional therapist. And it doesn't have to be a Christian therapist either. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, I started going to therapy. My wife said he was an advocate for therapy or whatever. So when I went, it was almost like, the sky was a different shade of blue. The grass was a different shade of green. I was like, oh, you're putting language to things that you otherwise didn't know like existed. So I would talk to Taylor about it, and eventually, like one day, Taylor just hit me on a whim. He's like, yo, I got my first therapy session tomorrow or this week or whenever he said it. And he came out and he had that same Hugh conversation, like, yo, this is crazy. So to see the progression, we have some conversations about like his therapy sessions and where he is and stuff. And so this is like a manifestation of like therapy, because it's so imperative and important for not just believers, but just for people. If you work out with your body, like you have to work out your emotions and your mental state and all that stuff. It's the same kind of exercise. And so I'm just such an advocate for therapy. That's why I love this song. And the beat is crazy and Taylor's rapping crazy, but it's just like the theme of it is just, I love this song so much. It's so crazy.
He's right, it's the therapy song. How many of y'all are in therapy? All right, I wanna see what we got. Okay. Therapy is something that should be normalized. It's not even like a special, hey, I'm going to therapy, I'm cool now. It's just something we need, like to balance us out as humans. And what he just said, like therapy gives language. Sometimes you're dealing with things, you don't know how to talk about it or articulate what's actually going on. And the second line or the first line, my therapist would call him Little Taylor. She addressed what I was dealing with. And this is terminology coming out of my sessions, what y'all reading, and I mean, I wasn't ready for her to just hit me like that when she said that. Like I had to see how I felt. Like, wait a minute, you don't know me, like it was a little personal. Like, what you mean, Little Taylor? And she started to expound on it, and she was dead right. And I just had to sit back and experience that. And I don't know about you, but sometimes like I struggle. I have a struggle with control. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't control that. I just had to surrender to it. And so it was so good for me to be able to feel like I could talk about how I felt. And I think we're all on this quest to just be understood, and to just feel like somebody understood me for a second was one of the most liberating things that I have ever experienced, and was able to walk around with the sky looking different. It's like, oh, somebody saw me, somebody understood me, somebody like pinpointed something that I couldn't pinpoint on my own, So asking Liz to give me something that she felt like would resonate or at least just speak from her heart about therapy. Because how did I frame it? I asked you about like...
You said you wanted me to tie together therapy and the preservation of the saints.
Yeah, it was deep.
These are the questions that happen in my head.
Yeah, we be having some deep conversations, deep arguments and all of that. But like, listen, man, if y'all married, man, y'all, make it happen. Like, like there's layers to conversation. You could go deeper than like where we gonna eat and where can we travel and like, yo, man, what you believe? Do I still know you? And we were having a conversation about Calvinism and that's a whole nother bunny trail, but how does God preserve us? You know what I'm saying? Like how do we make it? How do we continue on? How do we not quit? And her response was, therapy is a part of God's provision to help us make it. And in that, you have to confess you need help, So you don't just make it based on your grit and your determination, but you make it because you make yourself vulnerable and say, I need some help. And I just thought it was profound. She spoke for about a minute and a half, and I just took like 20 seconds, but that's because y'all ain't about to get all my wife's bars. I'm not getting them all. That's for me. So this is a really personal one. This is a personal one as well. So cool.
I think again, like I'm a stickler for sequencing, like why songs follow other songs. You have to, and for me, if there's an album telling a story, you know what I'm saying? So the first question that was asked with, the first song was, what's going on with you? And you took the next two songs to just sort of address all of the randomness in your head. And then you get to our record where you're trying to understand the reasons, why are these things in my head?
Yes.
And now you're getting to, then you get to lamenting your mother's passing and the stillness of that lament and everything that everybody felt in the room. And now it's like, let's go to therapy and let's talk about my laments. Let's talk about the random things in my head. Let's talk about my conquest or my search for understanding.
Yeah.
And so we end on Elohim,
yeah,
which is, I'm just let y'all listen to it.
Let's do it. Last song.
In my lungs, the 10,000 tongues from the songs that we sung, from the battles that we won, from our daughters and our sons, Elohim. Come and make it clean, come and lift us up from this valley in between. Yeah, piece it all together with the stitches in the seams. Take me to the Elohim. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want for anything. Nah, I shall not run from anything. Even when you hurt me and the circumstances change. Even when we question proper uses of your name. Yeah, even when you teach me through my choices and my pain. Yeah, even when you put me back together with the flame. I will not run, no, I will not hide. I'm blind, naked, weary, and it's cold outside. So Jesus be.
That last part is for that's for the rappers. Wit. That's wit. Crazy, right?
Yes. The beat is beautiful. Yes. Yes.
Sure.
So when I listen to your songs, I feel like I'm listening to two songs at one time that come like in a good way. They like come together in this way where I'm like, I can just listen to the track, or I can just listen to the rapping.
Yes.
How do you do that? Like, where does that go? Like all the vocals and all this keys, like it's beautiful.
This one by itself, like as a track, I had to negotiate with this. Like, this is so beautiful. I don't even know if I should rap on this.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Which is why I left it at the end just for you to enjoy. Because you could just run that. We could have had another 2 minutes of that.
Yep.
My opinion, but I think I just wanted to be as simple as possible on this one, And I was curious to see what y'all heard in that song, because I know what I was trying to communicate, but anybody hear anything in particular from that song?
I wanted to say what that reminds me of when I'm coming to listen to you preach on Sundays. It's like you get a certain vein, you're like, oh, he's going to be in worship right now. He's preaching to himself. And so that's what I'm paralleling like this song.
Yeah. Yes. You're right. Anything else?
First of all, this might be my favorite off this. I love everything I heard. I love the production, everything. But this joint right here is probably my number one.
Yeah.
Like Armond did a great job of walking us through, sort of a path to for the listener to engage. And this was just like a summary of how this all this comes down to this. This is at the end of the day, this is what it is. All your turmoil, all your pain, all your strife, all your sadness, rest in this. Yeah. And the beat really helped provide that river to emphasize that. But I have one thing against you. How dare you side with Luke? We're going to debate.
Dog, listen. She has to go. She gotta go.
Ungrateful.
She about to get Jerome Clinton. No.
Y'all have to see Snowfall. Snowfall is what we talking about right now, and apparently there's some passion.
Yeah. How do you relate to Louis?
I feel like she's a survivor, and she made an evaluation based on how things were trending. This is next level stuff for people who've seen Snowfall. If you ain't seen, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to give nothing away. Like, yeah, we need to have this conversation personally. Like, y'all trying to, yeah.
Go watch Snowfall.
Snowfall
it's a great show. It's on Hulu.
Yeah, show. Arguably one of the top 5 shows ever created. I don't know about this.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Kev said it's better.
No, it's not. I was waiting on who was gonna choose violence tonight.
Yeah. Of course. Ooh. Who's seen The Wire? Anybody seen The Wire? Okay. Marshall like, nah. It's better than The Wire. Yeah, those are just those references. If you know, you know. But I do relate to Louis. I know she frustrates some people, but I'm a frustrating guy sometimes. Go ahead.
I'm gonna talk. I read a couple lines in here, and I swear you just like ripped it out of my journal. And what I love about the wrap up here is that I still miss mom, but it's okay to sit in that and be Christian. Yeah. And that's what I love about this. Is we go back to that first track where you're processing that, but you're still processing. Yeah. It's my favorite track.
It's a both and, right? Like, I feel like in Christianity, we should be the most understanding of that grief is life. Like, literally, we worship a God who was killed. Like, and we're waiting for his return. Like, this waiting period is supposed to be mourning. Like, this is what a wait is. And so, to be able to balance that together, to be able to tolerate grief and also experience joy at the same time, we're uniquely equipped to do that. And it's sad that we don't talk more about what that looks like from day to day and how that works out in our personal lives with the people that we live, that we lose and that we love.
So I think it's dope that you kind of started off the conversation talking about intimacy and how this was an intimate moment. You know, we're so happy that you chose to be part of it. And the whole album screams intimacy. You summed it up with the most intimate relationship that exists for you. And so you captured all of these different relationships, you know, at various points during the different songs. But it all comes to the head. This is where I land. This is where I'm most vulnerable. And this is ultimately the only relationship that can fulfill me. In those moments where I don't have the words, those moments where I can't go to anybody else to really get what I need because it's lacking. This is where I land. How else can you sum it up? If you have that relationship with him, it's going to be more intimate than any other relationship that you have. It's just the way that it is.
I got my Cam co-sign, so good luck to the rest of y'all. But no, that what you guys are saying you got from it. When Liz first heard it, she said it still sounded like a little bit of a lament, and it was. But this is where you take lament.
Yes.
You know, you can lament, but you take it somewhere. Take it to God. Cry, have a tantrum. Like, I want the healing, but if it never comes, because it may not come, you know, am I satisfied with the breath in my lungs? I'm living another day. I have a reason to live and to continue forward.
There's a promise that comes along mourning. The scripture says, blessed are they that mourn.
Yeah.
For what? They shall be comforted. So that looks different for different people. Many people have moved on since mom passed. I probably won't go here for a long time. But the way I live my life, it's not like I'm stuck. Right. So, you bring it to Elohim, that makes it so supernatural. You shall be comforted. It's like a promise. Yeah. Comfort looks different. You know, it's not like, it goes beyond, because your comfort may be different from mine. My comfort is different from Armond's. Armond's is different from Cam's. Cam's is different from Chris, but there's a promise associated to it. Yeah. I get to preach.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. When you started with the scripture, you did mean to preach. The scripture says, yes. Yes, and we're getting a sermon. Okay, well that's even deeper. It's complicated reading from the King James Version.
It is.
But yeah, that's it.
I appreciated that the lament was worship. You know what I'm saying, like, it was just multifaceted. It just looks like different things. I love the fact that, like, it's a worship song, but it sounds sad. The keys are very sad. You know what I'm saying? So when I first heard the record, so I've been telling people, like, yo, when I hit him, I was like, yo, I heard like an early version. I was like, dog, this song made me cry, because as we go through this process of him sharing, like, you know, where he's been just in the last, you know, year, 2 years of his life, this song just almost feels like a standing up. Like, I can't do anything else. I just got to stand up. I just got to, like, I have to do something. I can't lay down. And it's like, you made it to your feet. So it doesn't mean that you're standing strong. It doesn't mean that you're good. We ready to walk. It's like the victory is in, like, I got up, literally stood up. And you might have had some help. Liz might have your arm. Your kids got your arm. You ain't even addressed, like, the You Can Make It's that were coming in at the end of the record. So it's like, the fact that those are coming from your father, from your children, those voices from your wife at the end, it's like, yo, how much more can I take? I'm literally just dragging, and those voices are like giving me reason to just get to the throne, to even say, like, all right, like, Lord, help me up. So just the imagery and the picture, that the sequencing and the story that you tell, it couldn't, like Cam said, like, it couldn't have ended anywhere else but here. It's open-ended because the journey still continues, but you still can close it on Elohim. And that's fire to me. That's the beauty of art, and it's the beauty of humanity, and it's the beauty of our humanity, like, in Christ. Like, it's just so multifaceted. It's a cheat code, as you pointed out earlier.
Yeah, it's resilience, and it's not resilience in the way that I have to just rely on myself. So yeah, I mean, you guys are getting a lot, you know, and even helping me, like, see some stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of leave it there. I mean, it's 7 songs, you know what I'm saying? And of course, 7 is the number of completion. and we are here on 7/14, and we were supposed to be here on 7/7 and whatever. The numerology experts can talk about that, but there was nothing else to say. It was time to stop and rest in that and figure out what the next steps look like. So yeah, that's Find a Way to Smile Again. This is an album I don't know if I want to say I'm proud of, but I do feel like I did what I was supposed to do. I said what I was supposed to say. I was honest, and it is about community. Like our mom pointed out, the voices that are in there are intentional. The way that certain things were articulated was intentional. The production was intentional. Like, some things were said in the samples that I wanted to be said. That's like, well, why is the song still going? Well, the sample has something to say. And this is how the producers are speaking. And these guys know me very well. So I just wanted to share that with people who I know me from different, you know, places and veins of life. And it's just an invitation to look at a person 3-dimensionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just one dimension, what people appreciate, but there's more dimensions to a person than what they're even able to articulate. Some people here from my church, and some of this stuff I will never say from the pulpit. You know, it's not the place. But music has been my place of safety and refuge to talk about things that I wouldn't share widely. So thank y'all for listening and engaging in this way. Right here.
Is that the wrap up?
That's my wrap up.
Okay. I mean, I can't wrap up your wrap up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wrapped it up. Thank everybody for coming.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to hang out for a little bit. I'm sure there's some other things that people want to share.
Yeah.
Share those things personally and all that good stuff. And yeah, just really, really thank y'all again. Taylor doesn't know. If you're not going to be proud of it, like, I'm proud of this album for you. Like I said, you crushed it.
Thanks, bro.
You crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you crushed
Thank you, man.
You set the... You set the bar really high, and it's some artists in here that I know that are working. B just dropped some. I just talked to Cam. Cam is working on stuff. Priest is dropping some. I'm working on stuff. O is dropping stuff. Sean is dropping stuff. And it's just like, all right, y'all, it's time. You know what I'm saying?
Terrell.
Oh yeah, Terrell's definitely dropping stuff. Terrell dropping stuff all the time. Terrell is a dropper.
And we're not ending without, I want to send a special shout out to TC,
yes.
Terrell Carter, who is the one who orchestrated this entire listening session.
Wizard.
Brought everybody together, pivoted at the last minute.
Literally the last second. Walked into the old location and nothing was in there. And I was like, we opened doors in 30 minutes.
Yeah, but
what are we doing?
But this is great. This is what a backup plan. You know, what a pivot. So anybody who wants to do any events or you know, facilitate experiences, I say talk to that man right there, because he allowed me to just be a person to come in and sit down in a chair and talk on a microphone. Not have to worry about nothing else.
Killed it.
Except
Killed it, big
how
dog.
much of this
Killed it.
Elijah Craig I was going to drink, which I was very Christian in front of you. I only had one. But I just appreciate you, bro. You oversaw and covered the experience. So thank you guys. What you heard were the mixes as they stand right now. These are not the masters. Some changes and additional edits can be made. There's a skit that I did not put on here, the skit of my dad preaching, but you already.
My version.
Yeah. But he didn't. He already preached tonight, so y'all got the skit. Thank y'all for coming, and feel free to enjoy the space.